Here's our first project, the 1971 GMC half-ton truck. And as you can see, it was used as a truck. So we've got some really good friends on board. Year one, Industrial Depot is going to supply all of our hardware. We've got a bunch of work to do, replacing rocker panels. We're going to make it a short bed, replacing fenders. But the thing that's going to be cool, we're putting this baby about 4 to 6 inches off the ground, so it's cool. And today, helping me is
Sean Greenaway.
Sean, how you doing?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm hanging in there, man. You ready to do this?
Yes, sir.
We're going to take this long bed and make it a short bed. Why? Because long beds just ain't that cool to me. What about you?
Nah.
Let's do this. Truck belongs to David G. and his brother William. So the truck actually has a lot of sentimental value for them. And it's cool because, you know, they're letting me cut the truck up and build it. It was their dad's truck in the beginning, so it's just neat to build something and give it back to those guys. Because Dave works at Industrial Depot. So, you know, we'll take it around and we'll show it. It'll be at local cruisings and all that. But, you know, it's just neat to build another truck. It's fun. That's the full race model.
Oh, yeah.
Here you go.
I didn't come with that.
That's the full race model.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of a little hot over here.
Got it. So yesterday we took the bed off the truck and we're going to cut the exhaust out and then we're going to take the rear end out, and we made a couple changes on this. But next step, we're going to take the nose off, the bumpers off, take the engine, transmission, rear end out, and we're going from there because it's going to get scary. Ready? Ready,
Yeah.
Sean? You ready?
Yeah.
Come on, Sean. Give me a little bit.
Yeah.
Come on, don't let it beat you.
Same.
Come on, don't let it
Come
beat
on,
you. Here.
This one, this one.
What? It's not difficult.
Man, that's...
All right. Now we gotta take this. Gotta take the cowl off.
Take off everything else. No, which way?
Okay, so the next thing Sean's gonna do is he's gonna pull the lower radiator hose off so we can drain the radiator and the transmission lines. I'm gonna get underneath it and start doing the core support pulls. You got that, tough guy?
Yep.
All right. All right, so what we're gonna do is simple. We're gonna get ready to pull the engine out. We're gonna get the transmission cross member undone. We're gonna get the tranny mount out and the engine mounts, and then we're yanking it all in one piece. All right. Coming down. So we just started tearing down our GMC truck, and I just want you guys to understand something. When you're doing a tear down of this size, car, truck, I don't care what it is. It could be your wife. You need tools. And the thing is, you gotta have all the tools handy. You need socket sets, you need wrenches, you need ratchets, you need breaker bars, you need pry bars. Because you know, you might have to pry something loose to get a ratchet in there. You might have one of those capture nuts broken. You may have to jam a screwdriver in there to put pressure on it so the other half of the capture nut doesn't spin. You need floor jacks. You need an engine hoist. You need all this stuff. And the reason why you need it is because it's going to make your life easier. Some of this stuff, like if you're taking the transmission out, if you can't take it out in one piece, the engine and transmission, you're going to need jack stands. And you want tall enough jack stands so you can get under there, slide the transmission out from under the car. So you need at least 6-ton jack stands, because all this stuff is important. You just can't go in there all willy-nilly and start tearing it apart. The other thing you got to take notice of is when you start taking like the hood off, the trunk deck off if it's a car, you might need an extra set of hands. So get your wife, girlfriend, your kids, your neighbors, whatever, in there to help you out. Don't do this stuff alone if at all possible, because you can get hurt. You have to be aware of that. And that's the whole key of taking it apart. Once you get it apart, as you're going along, you got to catalog everything. So you're going to need Ziploc bags. You're going to need some kind of writing device. I like Sharpies, because if the paper gets wet, the Sharpie doesn't run. You got to mark everything, tag it, bag it, put it away. That's the easiest way to tear down a car, so when you put it back together, you're not looking for stuff and it's all over the place. And then you just got a mess. That's what you got to do. All right, so we got our chassis and our frame back from Blastall, and the beauty of this is everything is nice and clean. Because, you know, this thing had a lot of grease and grime on it, and I just got tired of getting dirty. So the guys took it out, blasted it all. Now I'm going to disassemble the front end. One thing that's really cool about the Chevy truck front ends, 16 bolts, and this whole cross member comes out. It's done, it's gone. So I loosened up these already. I'm going to start taking the rest of this side apart, and we'll have this baby out in a couple of minutes. All right, there's a couple different ways you can cut steel. You can use a plasma cutter. In this case, we're going to use a torch on one side, and we're going to use a plasma cutter on the other. That way you guys can see how different things work. When you use a torch, it's really simple. Make sure there's no leaks. Turn on your acetylene, turn on your oxygen. Safety, you always want to turn the acetylene on quarter to half turn. The reason for that is if something ever happens, you can grab it, turn it, it's closed. Don't ever crank it all the way out, because then you're standing there doing this and it takes forever. It's just a safety precaution. You're going to get the same amount of gas whether you turn it a quarter turn or half turn versus all the way open. Oxygen, turn it a turn, turn it 2 turns. We don't really care that much about it. But be careful. When you're checking for leaks, you never want to use any petroleum products on your gauges, because with the acetylene and the petroleum, it will go boom. That's simple. Now, you always want to start with turning on your oxygen. Oxygen is red hose. I'm sorry, I said that backwards. Acetylene is red hose, oxygen is green hose. Red means hot. Get us a little fire going. I like to go till my floaters are gone and I just have smoke. Oh, this one. When you hit the trigger, see how the flame changes? That's oxygen blowing out to cut the metal. That's what will happen. Put on your glasses. Put on your gloves. Now you want to heat the metal till it starts to pool, and then pull the trigger. Takes a couple seconds to get done. Ooh, it's getting hot. We got sparks. And there it goes. I haven't done this in so long. There it goes. Ooh, I like that. Oh, when it pops like that, it means you're a little too close. Now, I left a little on there because I want to move the bottles so the frame doesn't buckle. You get the idea. Whenever you turn it off your torches, you always want to turn off the gas first, the red one. Turn it off. That way if there's anything trapped in the torch, if there's something defective, you're okay. Then turn off your oxygen. And then I'm going to answer my phone. plasma cutters have come a long way in the last few years. They used to be big and bulky, but now they've actually gotten to the point where like the size of a shoebox, and they run on 110. You can plug this thing into your house, give it 65 psi worth of air in the back, and then bam, you're cutting metal. It's the craziest thing. I've actually seen these where they were as big as this bolt bin, and they needed a crane to be moved. But let me get back to what I'm doing. We got the one side cut with the torch already. I left the little tag so it doesn't fall off. Now, I'm going to use the plasma cutter. You put your ground on so you can finish your circuit out. Put your glasses on. I've already got juice to the machine. Squeeze the trigger and drag it.
Ooh, she's ready.
All right, I've got both pieces cut now, both sides I should say. Check out the difference between the torch and the plasma cutter. You can see where there's a lot of heat, there's a lot of discoloration in the metal. That's all heat that actually has been put in the metal to make the torches actually cut and blow it away. Not only that, when you cut, you lose material because the tip, they make different sizes and you get fatter or thinner cuts, but you're still going to lose about 1/4 of an inch of material in actual length. So, you know, if that's an issue, you got to take that into consideration. If you look at the plasma side, it's nice and clean. You can see there's not a lot of burn back, so that means that there wasn't as much heat put in it. The other thing is, when you use the torch, you got a lot of cleanup. You don't have nowhere near as much cleanup as with the plasma. That's why I'm a fan of the plasma. You know what? If you come back next week, you're going to see the meat and taters of this whole thing. We're going to start welding, cutting, grinding, and there's going to be sparks of flying. I'm here to tell you. So next week, Garage Insider, we get busy.